Hi everyone, and hi Santiago, aka Zuller.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Um, for some of you, I guess that the first hour is going to be pretty slow this week because there was a DST change, the summer to winter time change in Europe. But as far as I know, that didn't happen in the US, or in America overall. So what's it like in Ecuador?
We don't have any time change actually.
You never have them.
No,
Oh my!
never.
Ecuadorians are so much smarter than everybody else in the world. Um, it's
So,
ridiculous. This
do you
whole
have
stuff.
an extra hour or 1 hour?
This time
prior?
around, it was an extra hour. Yeah, the clock was set back 1 hour, and I mean, everyone knows why that was created, why it was introduced back in the day, but it's just so useless nowadays. And I used to work with DST change a lot. A lot of people don't know that. Exactly. We keep that stupid rule. It's like, you know that if you have this extra hour and you're sitting in the train during that extra hour, the train would literally stop for an hour.
Really?
Yeah, because it needs to keep its schedule. The question is, what happens if you're in a train that goes within the hour that is lost in a March change, right? Because in March we basically set the clock, push it one hour forward, and it's just all these rules, all these kinds of things that they need to happen just because we're changing the hour by one.
I cannot
By 1
believe
hour.
it works that way.
Yeah. So, mass basis. Yeah. If you have, I don't know what it's like with flights, right? I just know that because I used to work in energy trading, and you would typically have like electricity is traded in hours and then quarter hours, and so on, right? And then you have these 24-hour days, except for 2 days in a year where you have one day that only has 23 hours and one day that has 25 hours. And it's just this super weird thing. So, um, uh, yeah, I mean, local time zones, I think they do make sense somehow, right? Because you want to have that rhythm. That's how I mean, yeah, you could say you use universal time, but I do get that the local time zones, but the DST changes are so ridiculous. I think the point is not to keep it, but depending on the region of the EU, the countries want the different to be the real one. But that's not a problem, right? I mean, Spain and let's say Poland are on the totally opposite sides of the same time zone anyway, right? So there's like 2.5 hours in between, like when it comes to sun rising, sun setting, 2.5 hours or so between Eastern Poland or Eastern Slovakia and Western Spain, right? So it's ridiculous differences anyway. So I wouldn't care, right? So long as they finally remove that. But yeah, there was a problem in the EU. There was a referendum of sorts. It just wasn't binding in the EU whether or not that should be removed. The majority of the people said it should be removed, but never happened. So that's been what, 4 years, 5 years now. It's crazy. Western Spain has a name. No, if I say Western Spain, I mean Western Spain. I don't mean Portugal, because Portugal is in a different time zone. And I think something was screwed up with the viewer stats here. I think that now we're back, because it was showing 5 viewers, but there were more people in the chat active already than was displaying on Twitch. And thanks a lot to Rob Odd, by the way, for the resub. Rob Odd has been subscribed for 19 months. That's crazy.
19? It's cool.
19. Yeah, I think the longest that we have is 24 or 25 months already. It's so crazy. We've been doing that for so long, and people have been watching us every week. It's crazy. So get used to that, Santiago, that you will have these people who are basically like a second family here because you've known them for so long.
I mean, I remember Robert said the idea of the Wombations, and since I was remembering that, I was checking the numbers. The Wombations, the whale, and the shark have been used 47 times in blends for new Wombations. So it is good to see that people have been using them. And it has only been used like 30 times for the season passes. So, I mean, that's good. It means people have now more ways to play the game and to strategize, which is cool.
And we don't have a surplus of season passes.
And we don't have a surplus of season passes.
I don't know what their trading prices actually are.
I haven't checked them, actually. Let's see.
I've checked them last week, but not recently. So the floor for the whales, 390 wax. So not too bad. It's definitely worth more than two of those season passes typically would.
And the
shark is traded at 150 wax. So yeah, not too shabby. You don't look too impressed. How are you doing?
Impressed? In what sense?
I don't know. Maybe about 19 months of robot, but how are you? How was your weekend? Maybe
I'm doing great. Kind of stressed right now with some things going on with my life, but they're going to get better, I'm sure of it. Hopefully by next week. But yeah, no, I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Cool. Before we get into the questions, I mean, feel free to post them already, right? I've been starring them. We should talk about the mob meme coins that launched on Friday.
Tell me more about it. Yeah.
After
Are you supporting
a long time of prep. So I'll be, like I said, I'll be starting these questions. So on Friday we had three tokens launch on launchbacks, right? And I just like that's just randomized order here. So you can go to waxonedge.app and then you can see all kinds of information about these tokens. I mean, there's generally a lot of information about tokens on there, so that's actually a pretty good tool. You can also trade, and it will give you kind of the most effective way of swapping, including Alcor, but others. So it does auto routing. So in case anyone does not know, Wax on Edge, pretty good too. So here we're seeing information about the red or dead coin, right? So if you want more information, you can head over to Launchbacks. That's wax.launchbacks.com. Let me post it here. wax.launchbacks.com. And okay, so this we're just looking at the RODC. Apparently that's the red mob token, right? So we have one token for each of the mobs: the red mob, the yellow mob, and the blue mob. And they all have different names, but they have the same tokenomics, right? So there's, I believe that's 69 trillion, right? Supply, yeah. So that's 69 trillion supply each. They all don't have the transfer tax. Nothing like special in that respect about the coins. The thing that's special is that they've been created by the mobs, right? Each. So now it's kind of the challenge is that each mob needs to promote their coin to, well, people who are outside the mob as well, right? To basically see which one's the best, right? And I was kind of thinking what to do with those today on stream because I want to kind of incentivize that a little bit, right? So I was like, let's see. So I would say that yeah, let's just briefly look at that first before we get into the challenge. So we see there was a lot of demand right away, right on Friday. The price went up. Some people aped in. You can see the holders here. So that's a total of 59 holders, and you can see who's holding them. So 50% is actually currently still locked. 27 is in liquidity. Then there is a few whales here, right? And this is where this is how this goes, right? So there was a bit of a pity because this chart was looking pretty good up until yesterday when somebody dumped a lot of tokens, right? Obviously, there isn't that much of liquidity in those. These are micro caps at best, right? So there's a total of $1,500 in other side liquidity, cash liquidity in there, 50,000 wax, right? So if you've done whatever, $100, $200 worth of tokens, then that was going to drag the price down a lot. But it's still really cool, right? That stuff is really cool. So now it's about thinking what we can do, right? So this is the red mob token, RODC. If you want to support the red mob, then or their cause and their token, then go ahead and buy some RODC. You can swap them directly on Wax on Edge. You can go to Taco or to Alcor and swap them. You can swap them in the Wombat swap directly, right? So that's this one. Then there's the yellow one, which is the Wombi one. It's called Wombi. It's a cool creative name for yellow mob token. So that is very similar in terms of performance, right? It's also had this cool thing going on here until the dump. I guess that was the same person doing that for all three tokens. So that's looking all right. You can see all the liquidity pools, right? And then we have the blue token, which is here, I believe. So that's called Blue Whale, right? And this had a little more price action, actually. So this went all the way to 7,000, whatever. I mean, the price is really low, right? But let's say 7,000, and then it basically dropped back, but it was on a higher level, around 4,500, and then it went low here. That's a pity, but still holding up better than the others. So that's really cool. Now the question is, what can we do with these tokens, right? There's obviously supposed to be some kind of a fair competition, kind of in terms of how we support that, right? But I think it's really cool if they get different dynamics and people do different things with them and come up with creative ways of using them, right? So you can do NFT drops, of course. You can have them added to blends, whatever, right? There's a lot of cool stuff. So what I was going to say is we can look at these trading volumes, right? And so if we go here to analytics, you basically see all the tokens on Wax. Hey, where's Wax? What's wrong with this one? That typically should display Wax as well, but it doesn't. It's weird. And it seems the stats are broken. Okay, so it's maybe not the best timing here. Okay, better. So we see these stats. So I guess I have to go to the third page, and we see that there's $700, $716, 24-hour trading volume for Blue Whale, 592 for Wombi, and 607 for RODC. So I suggest the token. So that's just, again, my personal thing right here, right? What I'll do is the token of these three that has the highest 24-hour volume by the end of the stream, right, so in an hour and a half or so before we do Twitchy Tides, the one token that has the highest volume here, I'll buy 100 wax worth of that token and burn it. Okay, so right now there's no supply burned of these tokens, but I'll just buy 100 wax worth and burn, whether that's Blue Whale, Wombi, or RODC that has the highest 24-hour trading volume by the end of the stream. So now you can go and trade it just a little bit back and forth, whatever, right? Or you can just leave it, and it's going to be Blue Whale or whatever, right? But I think that's a fair competition. So we'll see which one will be at the top of these three. So now, Santiago, what do you have in mind? What are your thoughts about these three mob tokens?
I mean, I like them. I would like to see them with a logo. I don't know why they don't have one yet.
I think it's just not. They do have a logo each, but that's just not imported into Wax on Edge yet.
Oh, okay.
We need to ask the NFT team.
People are asking if 100 wax or 1,000 wax.
100 wax. Come on, I'm not going to go too crazy here. But we can always up that, right?
Why we can do better than 100 wax?
Anyone can do better than 100.
That's true.
It's about the signal here, right? It's not about going absolutely crazy. I could say I'll hand out $5 or whatever, right? I mean, these are micro caps. If you buy 1,000 wax worth of these tokens, then the price is going to shoot up, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people are like here already have that, have been trading them already. That's really great. So what we also see is that they have very, very different holder numbers, right? RODC right now is at, after we started talking here, maybe it's gone up. So that's 57 people. Wombi has 69. What a nice number. 69 holders. And now let me pull up Blue Whale. And Blue Whale has more. Blue Whale has been crushing it so far. Blue Whale has 86 holders, right? So that is going pretty well. So
it's cool to see that Kek is still around somewhere there.
Look, they are already on par with Kek, right? So that's what's fascinating. If you look at the trading volumes, they're surpassing Kek already. If you look at I don't know what the market cap of Kek is nowadays. Obviously, we all should be having fun with all of these meme coins, right? And some people are obviously always looking to just make some money, which is fair. But okay, Kek is still a bit higher in 42,000 market cap. We're talking tiny little micro caps, right? It's like, but it would be so cool if one of these coins could go to like 100,000 market cap or so, right?
And who are the leaders of each mob?
Who
are the leaders of the mobs?
I think I don't want to call anyone out here, but so I think Yeah, maybe blacked out. Kevin Kev is saying, hold your blue whale. We have something nice coming for holders. So that's exactly what we want, right? We want the mobs to go creative about, hey, what can we do? And we will do our part as well, right? What is it that we already started, Santiago?
We're working on a new Wombation for the mobs. The red, blue, and yellow Wombations. I hope they will be ready this week, hopefully. But yeah.
So there will be Wombations, and these will be exclusively purchasable with the
Each
mob,
mob token. Yeah.
of course. So I think that's going to be totally awesome because if we do whatever, look, you've got Lucked Out is the blue mob leader, Test User is the red mob leader, and Lulz Maker is the yellow mob leader. So now you know. Kek token has an error in the smart contract. I didn't know. What's the error?
I mean, I remember it caused some problems with Alcor because since it burns a part of the supply with each transaction, it messed up with the farms.
But that's normal, right? There's a bunch of tokens that have that, especially on launchbacks. So the NFT team or a launchbacks team, which is the same, right? They've built that kind of new token standard, right? That can include an on-transfer fee, which is actually a pretty nice thing, right? A nice option to have. Of course, that messes with a lot of smart contracts. I still remember on EOS when what was the name of this coin that had this massive burn upon every transfer? I don't know. They did that as well, and then you could put stuff into DeFi box. You could put up liquidity into it, but you couldn't get it out because of the transfer fee, right? And that's what's good about the NFT blocks or the Launchback's smart contract. You can have a kind of a block list for the transfer fee, right? That can be managed by the token creators, so that you can exclude dexes. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm not talking about Yeet, but Yeet is another meme coin. I think that's it's generally cool that these things pop up. I know nothing about Yeet though. I know that it's been airdropped aggressively a lot, and also there's like these fake airdrop sites. Don't open any fake links and claim tokens from.
Yeah, be careful, guys.
Yeah, there's they even made a fake Atomic Hub site for this. It looks like an Atomic Hub drop, but it's not. So don't just like if people transfer you tokens with a memo that says something like "go to this page" or "go to this site" and claim your airdrop. Don't. Never, ever, never. Yeah, Anon was another coin that was dropped on NFT. On Launchbacks. So that is really cool. I think that like Wax would have so much potential for meme coins. So I'm really curious about how well the mob tokens are going to go now with the market hopefully improving. I mean, Bitcoin has failed to cross the 69 again today, right?
Yeah,
So
it's unbelievable. It feels like we're going sidelines forever right now.
Well, until next week, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I think Bitcoin is waiting for that. Bitcoin is waiting for that moment.
So Ving is elaborating on Keck doesn't let you send a small amount even to the burn address.
Interesting.
Even if it's in their ignore fees table. Okay, well, that sounds bad.
If there is an error in the smart contract, is the contract smart at all?
But I mean, then it means it can be updated. Except
it's not so smart contract.
Okay, so we'll have Wombations. What do you think? I mean, we don't have kind of the full picture just yet on what's going to happen with these Wombations, but what does how do you purchase this Wombi token? you can go to Alcor, to Taco Swap, to Wax on Edge, to the swap within the Wombat app, and just put in Wax versus Wombi, and then you can buy Wombi. So it's very simple, actually. I mean, what does the chat think? What do you think, Santiago, about what will these Wombations be used for? Because what I can imagine, actually, look at the market caps right now, right, of the tokens. It's like a few $1,000s. Now imagine we would have a drop of, let's say, 5,000 blue, yellow, and red Wombations at a price of what, 20 cents, 30 cents in the respective token each, right? Imagine what that would do to the market cap and the trading volumes, right? If people start going crazy about this. So we need to find some really cool utility for these three Wombations, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Whether that's so obviously the kind of a default would be to do something similar to the Woofle that we did with the Woofy Wombation. A little bit boring, maybe, but I don't know.
I mean,
So
it will actually be cool to have the
use
input from the leaders as well. Maybe they want to do something cool and they can take the conventions to take advantage of it. They can suggest us the stuff so we can think about it and maybe help them out. They're the leaders after all. And maybe they can go along with their own NFTs like I don't know how to pronounce Lucked Out set.
I always say lucked out because it
Lucked Out
makes sense that you might have lucked out. So there's already Blue Mob NFTs. So that's awesome, right? This is exactly what we want. It's more like, if that goes well, it could kind of re-spark a little bit of the feeling that we had in the wax space back in 2021, right? Where there was something new going on every day. New NFTs launched. We have all these tools on Wax, right? We have all the you can sell NFTs for your own tokens. I hope they're listed on NFT blocks already. If not, then just ping Juan or Jose or whoever from Nifty or Launchback so that happens. But it should actually happen automatically. So you can use them in blends. You can use them as an output in blends, right? So you can do these raffles and so on. So there's really cool stuff that can be done with tokens out of the box, right? You can do farms. You can do staking, NFT staking for tokens on what's it called, Pepper Stake, right? And like all these things, it's crazy. So how about make them blendable with Victory Wombations? Something like that. Or you can blend that into a Victory Wombation, or you can blend the Victory Wombation into one of these Wombations. I'm not sure you can buy it on Taco Swap yet. There may not be a Wax Taco pool. That's right. There may not be a Wax Taco pool. A Wax Wombi pool on Taco yet. That's true. Sasha is rooting with the Blue Mob.
There are a lot of supporters for the Blue Mob. In this stream, at least.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. I hope that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with all these nice tokens. And like I said, by the end of the stream, the one that has the highest trading volume, 24 hours, I will just buy 100 wax worth. And if anyone wants to follow on, just go ahead, right? If you feel like giving your coin, your favorite coin, a little push, then let's do this. Everyone can follow on and then just burn some of these tokens. Yeah, I mean, when we spoke, when we started talking about the blue, red, and yellow Wombation, it's easy to figure that there might be a purple Wombation, a green Wombation, and an orange Wombation as well. I don't know. The Victory Wombatium. Make that like the Wombat miner. That is a popular blend,
Interesting.
indeed.
Could be a good idea.
Hmm.
And upgradable with mob tokens.
Maybe it's not going to be the Victory Wombatium itself, but something derived from that. But that is a nice idea that you could use the mob mob Wombatium, like let's call them mob Wombatiums, right? To actually upgrade MP on an NFT.
We could use it to upgrade the Victory Wapation.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe it's something else as well. But generally, it's a cool idea. Yeah.
We're going somewhere.
So if there's any more ideas that come up here, just let's have them so that we can brainstorm also with the mob leaders around what else can be done, because I think that's exciting.
Answer already pops on. Wombi. Okay, cool.
Wombi. I'm set on all three of them, so I'm one of these whales. I got really excited on Friday, and I had to like be one of the first buyers. Obviously, I didn't set up any bots or whatever, but I bought quite a bunch. Okay. When WOM-C and WOM-D, I mean, quadrilles are, you feel free to just make them, right? It's very easy to set up tokens. You could go to WaxDAO to do that. You can use Launchbacks to do that. So the question is, what happens with WOM-AE? All the old Wombatiums need a new blend. Spy, Cashmere, Tier, Fortune, all could be blended for a higher value NFT.
I mean, we always need to be looking for adding new blends and also adding value for the Wombations. But we also need to take into account what value do we provide, because this is the easiest thing is to just say, okay, we're giving more mining power and so on and so on. But if we continue that path, then it will not be the best long term. So there are some things we need to take a look into. We always need to remember that these Wombations exist and we should create some value for them. I also think we need to revisit some MPs regarding the packs that people have been asking to. So those are things that we have on the back burner to check. And when I say check, it is not saying we are going to change. We need to check, and then we can make decisions.
It's only been a few weeks and you're already getting like very precise in what you say and how you say it.
Yeah.
I like that. Because people will be watching the VODs, and they will be saying, "Hey, but Adrian said that." It's exactly what. Now let's move into some of the questions here, right? Brent is coming after me saying, on the last Tavern stream you said play could be launched any day. Then last Friday on Discord, in the chat with the CEO, you said you underestimated the complexity of the process. Well, of the originally what we estimated. Actually, what is the current situation? I mean, is it 50% ready, 90% ready, or what? That's hard to tell, actually. So I didn't say any day in terms of we're going to surprise you with that, right? So that's not what the intention was, but surprise you in terms of we will still keep the at least 2 weeks upfront notice. However, so I think we're much closer to the 90% than the 50%. It's just that you can be 99% ready, and the last percent may still be hard to solve, right? So that's the problem here. That some of the remaining outstanding things may actually cause enormous delays, which is not what's necessarily happening here. It's just that there's a set of potential partners in particular, or set of partners in particular, who where it's really hard to work around, right? So that's one of the issues here. But yeah, I think like overall, I think we're much closer to the 90%. Or actually, yeah,
I
maybe
have
even
a
above.
question. Why are we
Yes.
releasing Play on Ethereum?
Sorry.
Why are we releasing it on Ethereum?
Because we are because we have both WASDR and Wombat on Ethereum, and we need to be able to airdrop the tokens, the Play tokens, to Wombat and WAS token holders on
Okay.
Ethereum. But so, you're implying something with your question.
What am I implying?
I don't know. That's what you need to tell me, because if you're asking why are we releasing it on Ethereum, you're basically saying why not on XYZ.
I mean, the easiest question will be why not on Polygon or Solana?
It will be on Polygon,
It will be in Polygon, yeah.
because we also have Wombat and WAS token holders on Polygon, right? So it will be airdropped to WAS and Wombat token holders on Polygon as well, and on Wax, and on EOS, and on Immutable ZK VM, and that's exactly one of the one
Oh,
of the
immutable
problems.
as well. Okay, cool. Then I'm happy.
So because it's bridged, right? And now you could say, hey, why don't we bridge Wombat to Solana, or why don't we bridge Play to Solana? Which I'm not saying it's not going to happen, right? I think that no, I'm not sure what it's like with like Wormhole or whatever, but with some bridges, you can essentially, anyone can bridge, right? Anyone can basically take a portion of, let's say, Wombat tokens to the bridge and bridge them over to, let's say, whatever, Ton, or I don't know about Solana for real, but that might be a thing, right? So if that's permissionless and anyone can do that, then yeah, we might have tokens bridged to somewhere where we don't even know that it's there, right? And that's actually quite cool. I like that. So there was another one by Gold. So hang on, yeah, I think maybe the follow-on, because that's from a topic perspective, it's very close. In your opinion, why is Play going to perform better than Wombat was in terms of value price? There's always a thin line for me to talk about potential price of our token, right? So I can't tell you, hey, it's gonna go up in price, or it's gonna be higher in price, because I can't be making these promises, and that I could get hit hard from a regulatory perspective if I were to talk about that. But obviously, the idea is to use all the experience that we've gained from running Wombat in particular, and also was, and making it a better show, right? And improving on the things where we were short. And in some respects, that's not even going to be hard, because we knew very, very little when we first launched Wombat, right? And then obviously, like in retrospect, back then we thought, okay, we actually know a lot, right? But then you realize that there's a lot of things that you don't know. That is regarding, let's say, liquidity, regarding market making, regarding exchanges, regarding marketing, and all of these things, right? So that there's a lot of aspects that we can improve for Play, and it's always hard for anyone who would want to make a decision that they want to buy from the outside, right? That they want to buy a token like, let's say, Wombat right now. They look at the chart and they say, okay, hey, it's been so much better. Actually, it's funny, because I recently looked at some other charts from Web3 gaming projects, and it's actually interesting that some of them look very, very similar to the Wombat chart. But anyway, it's harder to rebound from that than to basically print a new chart, right? And chart is what is the first. Your token price chart is what new speculators, right? People who basically speculate on the price to go up. That's what they look at, right? So I think that's where kind of the strongest new brand effect comes from. is that there's going to be a new chart. There's also going to be consolidated liquidity. There's going to be more trading venues. There's going to be different positioning, right? With a more, maybe, hopefully, more interesting long-term twist to it, right? Because I mean, obviously, from a pure utility perspective, it wouldn't matter. We could do anything that we do with the PlayMine protocol. We could do using the Wombat token as well, right? But the whole narrative of it, that's what's going to change, and that's what's hopefully going to improve. So there's a bunch of things that where we think will improve actually quite dramatically over Wombat and Was. So okay, there was the play related ones. So there was one by Gold 3-1. Any chance you guys saw my suggestion about having a rarity glow behind the equipments? I didn't. You mean in Dungeon Master, I guess. So because on the cards we have that, but in the game we use the alt image that doesn't have the card in the background. So yeah, that's probably doable. I mean, no, anything is doable. The question is it doable within a reasonable time frame and effort frame? So I guess that's something that you could look at.
For sure.
After removing the B wombation from the shop, there was supposed to be added something else. Any news about that?
It wasn't supposed to be added something else. I do think we need to add more stuff to the store. So yes, I agree.
I'm gonna play a little bit dirty here, and gonna say ask the obvious follow-on question: when?
When? I will check it out today. No
Because
problem.
that's the implicit question behind
Definitely.
Daniel Engel's question here.
Sorry, what would you like to see in the store? Anything in specific that you would like to be back?
Yeah, so that's a question to the chat. What should come back? But apart from that, I guess we're working on a few things that will join for the first time. Then that's an interesting set of questions that we had or discussions around that. When will you change the option to activate the clan building bonuses with bricks? It's bullshit that we save bricks to upgrade and newbies are using them to activate instead of using clan resources. It's wrong that you have the brick option first and not the resources. If you must keep the brick option, at least move it to the second option and resources first. I thought we had changed that, but
Yeah, we did change. This happened on the weekend. We did change it. It seems it was live for a couple hours, and then during the weekend, it appeared again. Maybe it has to do something with the way we change it. So yeah, Arthur is already aware of it, and hope it can be changed by tomorrow because he wasn't around today.
But in general, I think what we're discussing internally is changing that, switching the bricks option to a Wombat token option, right?
Yeah, I mean the problem with that is that people cannot track who is using the bricks for what. So if we add it again, then we should add it with a history, or maybe with a whitelist of only certain members can be able to activate it. Because right now, some people, maybe unaware, are using the bricks for themselves, and people do not have a reliable way of checking who was the member that did it.
Okay, so we're actively working on this.
It should be removed tomorrow, and it will be implemented, but again with maybe a history and with a couple of little updates we have for plans. So don't worry, guys.
So there's ongoing discussion about the infinite stamina strategy. I mean, technically it's not infinite, right? With Stadium and new clan help functions, entire clans are no longer bothered by negative stamina. Yeah, the question is whether that's the most effective strategy, right? But so what people essentially do is if your stamina turns negative, your runs take 3 times as long, right? There's a 200% penalty on negative stamina. Now, some people have so much speed that it seems like it's still better to take into consideration the 3 times penalty, 200% penalty on every run, rather than managing run durations, right? Because they can do just so many runs in a day still that they don't care. So the question is, are we going to do anything about that, right? What are your thoughts?
I do think we need to do something about it. Overly, it also goes along with a couple of things we're implementing that might not help with the issue. So one option is to maybe work with the stamina thresholds. If it is below a certain level, then it is not multiplied by 3, but by 6. Could be.
There you go. Santiago already has the solution, or one of the possible solutions to that. Okay.
So in that way, people also need to take into account that.
All right. So there was Kevin Cav responded to which Wombatium they want to see. So Black Lotus Wombatium, 50k uranium, 100k iron, 250k coal, 7,500 MP. 7,500 MP.
That's expensive.
That's a lot of MP as well. So yeah, I mean, definitely worth a look. So I'm not sure about the math. I guess Kevin Kev has done a little bit of math on that. I guess that 100k iron and 250k coal are not going to be a massive issue for big players. 50k uranium might be more of a limiting factor. We could have a look at how many people would be able to mint this. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. We still have the Black Lotus Wombatium template that hasn't been used yet. Okay, there were a bunch of other questions. Will we see Nefty Blocks Atomic Hub merge in the next year by Sasha? Well, I can't speak for Nefty Blocks, but definitely an interesting idea. I think somebody brought it up 1 or 2 weeks ago already. That's nothing we ever discussed with the Nefty Blocks team. I think it's going to be kind of hard from a multi-chain point of view, because in Atomic Hub we obviously also have Polygon and EOS and Immutable ZKVM and IMX. But yeah, definitely an interesting thought, at least for the wax part of it. No clue what that would look like in practice, though. What's the best way to get IMX to pay the fee and buy NFTs on the IMX ZKVM Atomic Hub? That is a very sad. There's a very sad answer to this, because I've had the same issue recently, and what I wanted to do is actually bridge. So I bought IMX on Ethereum and wanted to bridge them to Immutable ZKVM, and there was a massive bridge fee. There was like a few percent bridging fee. So I was like, nah, that doesn't make any sense, because I already spent fees on buying them on Ethereum, and you have to pay gas, and then you have to pay a fee. What? Just for bridging? This is crazy. So I know it was like quite significant. So instead, I went to the official toolkit site. They use so you can basically go here. So that's toolkit.immutable.com, right? And then you go to the on-ramp and you can log in with your MetaMask here, and then you can essentially buy it here, right? So that works. There's a little bit of a fee on this, but it generally works. So that's what I did. I think that's using Transact. Transact is the fiat on ramp. MoonPay doesn't support zkEVM yet. I think Banksa doesn't support zkEVM yet, so that's a little sad. Right, the support for on ramp is into zkEVM is pretty bad, and all the exchanges don't support zkEVM yet, right? So you can't withdraw from exchange, or I don't know any. Maybe if anyone knows an exchange that supports zkEVM already, then please post. Then Choco Crypto might have an answer to this, a better answer to this, but I don't know any, and so I've been using Transact. I think it is. Capri has been asking about CR1s. Been seeing lots of posts on Twitter about AI agents. Can the CR1s somehow be the face to these and have them applied? Yeah, so that's along the ideas that we've had for CR1s, that you could basically implant some kind of an AI mind into them. So they can be used for different types of things, right? So there's basically a visualization for things. Yes, that's one of the ideas. It's a great idea, I think. So we also wouldn't have to implement the agents ourselves, right? Because that's quite hefty. But we could just do something else. Totally agree with this. I personally have no idea about the kind of technical feasibility of this, but this is a cool idea. Nadu has been asking, what's the average response rate when you place a ticket? I had placed a ticket on September 29th about not being able to stake EOS NFTs on Dungeon Master. Still haven't gotten a reply back about it, and I still can't stake EOS NFTs. So maybe that's a greater problem at large. I've heard of somebody else having issues with that on iOS specifically. So maybe that's a kind of iOS problem. That the other person resolved it by using the Chrome extension. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speculate about the technical issues at hand here. But I also we have this occasional issue where tickets don't get answered, don't get resolved quickly enough. So September 29th, it's been a while. It would be nice if you could kind of ping us again about this, or maybe post that to Matt or somebody. So yeah. Okay. Currently with Max Stadium and a full clan, you only need 90% speed gear to get back under the penalty. But I'm really wondering, wouldn't it still be better to do 15-minute runs or 1-hour runs? Like longer runs? I don't know. Captop is saying stamina should just stop at 0. Some people say this.
I like the concept of stamina. If you're tired, then you take longer.
That's what the original idea was, yeah.
And if you're more tired, then you take even longer. That's why even a threshold could be cool. But someone also said that maybe you could get less contribution points, which is also
old manky.
Yeah, old manky.
Yeah. From what I have read, Captop, the future of Web3 will be mergers. That's what most articles are predicting. I don't know about that because they're not pleasant to do. But I mean, there's a lot of scattered tokens and stuff, right? So who knows? Maybe. Okay, let me start some of the questions. The issues on iOS, I always confirm transactions with Anchor. I would copy the code and paste them on my Anchor app. Okay, well, interesting. Hey, Funkin' Crypto. Hi, and please recycle.
That's good. Yes.
Long time no see,
We need to
Funkin'.
recycle.
Cool to have you here. Okay. Sure. I've adapted my my spelling, my pronunciation of this. Sorry, don't want to be a pain, but we're still missing the mining power values for the newer Polygon collections: Banshees, Bridge, Jurassic, by Jurassic FX, Pixel Journey. Could you please add the RMP info to the official Polygon sheet in Discord DM
Oh,
FAQ?
okay.
That's on you.
It will. I will do it today then. Sure, can you please DM me on Discord so I get to remember it and find out the problem? Because right now it is that they are stakeable, but you cannot see which numbers, right?
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Also, follow up by Chur, also in AKA, sorry, config mining power EOS IO CSV. There are template IDs that have multiple rows with different MP. Could you for now please clarify which row, always the last one, is the one with the correct MP used in Dungeon Master? That is interesting. That is definitely something we would have to ask the dev team, whether there's a rule to that even. But that's crazy. So we should really make sure that
Just
they're
one of them. Yeah.
CryptoBG is asking on Twitter/X. That's always cool to see people who
you
actually
can do
watch
that?
us on
Oh.
Twitter.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, we always also stream on Twitter. It's just obviously there's a bunch of things that you can't do on Twitter with like Twitch it hides and rating and so on. So it's a bit sad, but we're here. And CryptoBG is one of the people who kind of always watches us on Twitter. Now it turned on. Maybe I missed what I want to ask. What happens to our name Play since there's another token with the same ticker? I asked the question last week, so you said you checked. Yes. So generally, what does it mean that a ticker is already taken, right? We've had a similar kind of thing with the Wombat token back in the day, because the Wombat exchange token launched only a few weeks after ours, I believe, maybe 6 weeks. And they chose the ticker WOM. And the ticker WOM was actually already taken. So what does that mean? And we already had a naming issue with Wombat because of Wombat Exchange. So what does a ticker mean? A ticker means that stuff on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and on exchanges and so on needs to be identified by that, right? So that can only exist once. So if we have Play with an AI, not AY, and that already exists on exchanges, then we will have to change it, right? So far, I haven't seen any mention of Play with an AI on neither CoinMarketCap nor any exchange, right? So far, it seems like we're fine with the Play with an AI. However, I don't want to let it get to that, right? If other people are basically using the Play with an AI ticker, then we will have to check with them kind of who's more flexible on changing this, right? Otherwise, it's just a race to like who launches first, right? Because then you might end up with the Play ticker on one exchange, and then you would have to use another ticker on another exchange, right? So it was actually quite interesting when Gala changed their smart contract up and the token update. The new token was listed on some exchanges as Gala X, right? And then the ticker got changed because there was on some other exchanges there was a Galax ticker already, and so on. So this always creates a mess, right? So we definitely want to be in the clear on that. As I said, right so far I haven't seen any listed ticker play, right? And that's the only thing that matters, right? Just because somebody has a play ticker, anyone can come up with this. Anyone can come up with any ticker, right? But the ones deciding on which one's the real one with that ticker is the official sources like exchanges, because they can't have multiple tokens with the same ticker. So we'll see what comes out of that. You're right. There was this. I had seen a project a while ago with the ticker. I thought they may not be around anymore, but it seems they are. So we'll definitely have to be on top of this. Robot is saying Black Lotus should need at least 1,000 gold. This is a scarce one, but could you imagine adding more payment option in Dungeon Master Shop? You could start with rarity Wombation packs, season passes, and QNFTs for materials, maybe multiple different recipes with gold and without. You could start a bit higher initially, and you can lower costs of them later. You could also do temporary sales or limited by number. Once in Discord or so, later mob coins could be added for mob 2. What are your thoughts on this, Santiago? Having different purchase options, having limited sales makes sense, right?
Yep. Limited sales, I agree. The different purchase options, not sure yet. I mean, I like the idea of people having to buy the season pass to actually get more NFTs in relation to the season pass perks that each one has. But have you hosted like auctions of NFTs previously? Have you ever done that?
No.
That would be interesting. I mean, I like creating one-on-one NFTs. Maybe we can do auctions anytime. We create a one-on-one and we do an auction, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest issue with auctions, I like auctions are great for price discovery, right? It's just that they don't work very well on wax NFTs in general, right? So you typically will end up better if you just plain sell it, try and sell it for the price that you want to sell it for, than trying to create an auction for that NFT and try and get the best price out of it, right? So maybe we should, I don't know, we should start having Dutch auctions, or whatever it is. But
Dutch auction is cool as well.
So far, the auctions, like the American types of auctions hasn't been very popular. So I don't know. And what's the one of one? I mean, maybe if we make the Black Lotus, tying into that question.
that could work, yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit. 500k MP for one season NFT action on the shop. That will be way too OP. But
that's nice, right?
Yeah,
so
we're getting there. Maybe not
a temporary MP. Then you can have 100k.
And you could have 100k. Yeah, I mean, not with those numbers, but we're getting there. And yeah, actually, I mean, one-on-ones are cool. I like them, and we will definitely explore options with them. And sorry about my dog. Give me a second. I will tell him to come inside.
But yeah, I mean, this would definitely be exciting, right? What's I'd be curious about that.
It seems like my dog knows that I am on stream, and he decides to start barking all over the place.
Just because your attention goes elsewhere. Same happens with my kids, especially the little one. Whenever my wife and I just try to talk and he wants our attention, or especially mom's attention, he would do anything possible to actually push her attention to him. It's crazy. Okay, because you created them. That's a question for you, Santiago. Will the party metals have any other use case except the staking for mining power?
We haven't thought about it actually. So yes, currently right now it is only for staking for mining power.
Do you want to open this up, because with the other promo things that we did, right? The party hats. I mean, Sasha is here, so Sasha remembers all of that, right? But the party hats, the Christmas hats, and so on that we've made. We said, okay, that's just the one thing that you do, and then that's it, right? So, do you even want to open it up to that, or do you want to say like, no, that's it, you'll never be able to get them again, and then surprise people with this, or do you want to say like, hey, if you have cool suggestions, give them to us, and we'll see what we can do.
I mean,
Like, where stand on this?
I don't want to open it up, but I don't want to close it definitely. So the thing is that when you have an idea, it just comes up and you say, hey, but we can also use the metals. So that's the thing I want to let it. I mean, to leave it to. If there is a place where we can use the metals, then we will likely use it. But it isn't something that we want to force. Like, yeah, we have to think about a thing to do with the metals right now.
You so sound like me already.
You need to be careful. Yeah, it already happened to me. I don't remember with which thing, but I said, "Yeah, we will do this," and then someone said, "Hey, you said you will do this," and I was like, "Yeah, I should have worded it better."
Especially when it's directly related to certain NFTs, right?
Yes,
Because if you ever confirm anything related to these NFTs, then you know people will start buying, and then they will complain if it doesn't end up happening, right? So if you're saying, yes, we'll totally do something with these metals, then some people will go and buy 1,000,
exactly.
and then
So
later
that's
complain.
what we don't want to do.
Exactly. That was related to the Nifty Atomic Hub merge by Conservance. I would think Adrian and Juan would want to keep it separate as entities to avoid monopoly on marketplace whilst promoting innovation. Your thoughts, Adrian? So that's what I generally like about the wax space in and of itself, right? And that's what I was advocating for even prior to our acquisition of Atomic Hub, is that there's fair competition and there's there's space for innovation, right? So I was even suggesting after we acquired Atomic Hub that hey, how about we make a change to the atomic market protocol where the maker and taker fee could be set separately by each marketplace so that there could be competition on this. And it was actually Juan who said, no, that's not going to be great because then we're going to have a race to the bottom. And I said, okay, it makes total sense that we're not doing this, right? So that's one of the advantages actually, is having it fixed. But that's the type of discussions that we typically have, right? So I think this is where healthy competition and healthy ecosystem actually comes from. So that is something that I really appreciate, and that was, I don't know how much of that was planned, like originally these purposefully designed when Fabian and Jona actually designed the atomic market protocol, but that was very smart to keep that open, right, and basically have shared liquidity, and that was always great. So I think that totally opens up for competition, and it should be like that, right? Now the question is there anyone else, right? Because the same question was like, okay, so how about there's like penalties on other marketplaces, and there was all kinds of discussions in the past about hey, how can Atomic Hub retain its status within the Wax ecosystem? And I said, well, it's actually great if you have healthy competition, because that means that there's a business to be run, right? And that's the problem right now, that there would literally be nobody building a new NFT marketplace on Wax and compete, because there's no money to be made, right? So why would anybody invest into this, right? So that's the problem, and so under that kind of aspect, it makes no sense to merge NFT blocks on Atomic Hub, right? So the question is, from which angle would it make actually sense? And that's there's just kind of the okay, how much does it cost to run that or whatever, right? A perspective, and it's probably easier to just use shared infrastructure from a technical perspective, but keep kind of the business parts aside. But literally, I have not ever spoken even hypothetically with any of Juan or Jose about this, right? So it's all kind of speculation that comes from the community, not from any one of us. We have never talked about this, right? So I don't know what this would look like. I don't know who would run what. I have no idea whatsoever, right? So it's really all speculative. Simple one. Which jersey are you wearing?
I'm not wearing of any
It's just a
specific.
t-shirt.
It's just a t-shirt. It's one of my favorites. It has close to 10 years, actually.
Has nothing against wearing old t-shirts.
Are you a fan of a football team?
Me?
Soccer. No, football. It should be said football.
Depends on where you are.
No, football.
Here on this chat, some people will correct you. The real football is American football. And anyway,
No, they are wrong. The real football is this one.
So I'm not a real fan. I've never been actually. There's always teams I sympathize with, but I mean, especially German Bundesliga, for instance, in terms of soccer, football, whatever, has become incredibly boring. So I don't like watching Bundesliga at all. I mean, now I live in Portugal anyway, but soccer/football, I'm not really into it right now. So no. How about you?
I mean, my favorite team is AC Milan. But from Germany, I mean, as everyone, I like Bayern Munich.
Everyone?
I mean, from outside, I do think that most of the people are fans of Bayern, and also from Borussia.
Yeah. But I mean, in Germany, there's a big division. Either you're a fan of Bayern Munich or you hate them. So there is no in between. There's basically nobody who doesn't care.
That's good though. I mean, I think Borussia has a better fan base. I do think so.
I mean, I have a lot of friends who root for Frankfurt. Right, Frankfurt is one of the most enthusiastic fan base, and that's actually quite crazy. But I mean, outside of Germany, Frankfurt is not one of the most popular clubs. But yeah, right now I'm an NBA guy. But even in the NBA, I don't really have a team. Right, I have multiple teams that I like, and other teams that I don't like or I don't care.
Oh, you watch the NBA?
If I'm up when the games are, yes, because obviously the time zones are really bad for me. So the weekends are always nice because they have these early afternoon games in the US that I can watch at a time that's good for me. Otherwise, if I happen to be up at night, I have a league pass. So yes.
Cool.
I really like the NBA. I prefer faster sports over soccer nowadays. The only thing that really stresses me out with NBA is the number of timeouts.
Yeah, I hate it.
So many timeouts nowadays. It's crazy. Robert is saying, I would love if there would be a setting so I can't go negative on stamina to protect me from myself. So definitely something we can consider on the front end.
Yep.
Sasha, asking for a friend holding a substantial amount of Wombat, how will those be migrated into play? Is that clear yet? Yes, it's clear from a kind of outside perspective. You'll be airdropped the amount of play tokens, so you'll have to hold them in your wallet or on one of the partner exchanges. Captop saying, I'd rather see high-value NFT blended by using old Wombatiums, Fabergé, Spike, Fortune, Tier, and Cashmere rather than buy with materials and shop.
Okay.
There you go. You could.
I mean, Wombations are great. I love the idea behind them and the idea that you can give them multiple use cases. So yeah, these are things that can be done and will be done someday, but we will check it out.
We
I like
have
that.
we have a lot of different Wombations that one can play around with,
And I'm
and
still learning what do they do, because yeah, I have been here for 2.5 weeks close to. So yeah, I'm like, and what does this one do, and when was this one sold? So you need to learn a lot of things about Dungeon Master before doing changes and also suggestions, because as you know, I have come up with a lot of suggestions, and then you will say, nah, it won't work because of this, and I'm like, oh, so it works that way.
no, I typically don't say it won't work. I typically say this is the typical problems that you'll have when you do it.
Yeah, true. So for example, with this, and it is also kind of difficult to learn a lot about the game, because I was looking how stamina works, and there is not really a place with all the information about stamina.
So how's the wiki coming along?
um i i, I mean, uh I already created it. It is in the back burner right now, but yeah, the concept behind it and getting people to help us with it, I hope it can be done by the next month, because I, as I have been learning, I have been trying to complete the wiki a little bit, so that's cool. I mean, it is pretty straightforward. And actually, what I was thinking is, do you think it should be on a Git? Do you guys think it should be on a Gitbook page or in a fandom page? Because the fandom is a web page where you can put the wikis, for example, for Minecraft, for Terraria, and Gitbook is more technical. It could be done in each of them. I would like to know if you think it will be better in any of them.
Are you asking me? No, you're
No, the
asking the
guys
chat.
in the chat.
Yeah. Why not both? Yeah, exactly.
For what?
Both Gitbook and fandom.
Uh, no, it will just be a problem whenever you have to update it.
Exactly. Mm. Um, so okay, that was that by Captop. Actually, maybe a follow on to this. We used to have this very scarce blend. I think that this actually was for the Fabergé Wombatium, where we had all the other Wombatiums blended into this, right? So we could do a blend that's basically all the other Wombatiums um, blended into
The Mega
the
Wombation.
Black Lotus one, because the Black Lotus it's obviously intended to be like super scarce, right? So this blend would also include the whale Wombatium and the whatever other super scarce Wombatium. So I mean that's an idea. Whether or not this should have extremely high MP or whatever, I mean that's a different story, because I'm personally not a big fan of making a lot of Wombatiums that just are there for staking, right?
Exactly. That's
Um, but there may be other things that we can do with Black Lotus Wombation.
Bing, do you maybe can you DM me about it? I would love to check out what do you and Cow had, and we can work it out, because yeah, the purpose of the wiki is also to get the community involved. So it will be great to check what you had on the wiki. And it is good to know that it was deleted from the fandom.
Oh. Yeah, maybe we can get it back.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can check it out. I didn't know about that.
So Robot is follow upping. I feel like the rarity packets Wombation are too not used often. Maybe a limited sale for material could help players to upgrade and accelerate market activity. Maybe. I mean, I'm still thinking, because we could create some flexibility around this, right? And that's been a long standing issue, quote unquote, where people were saying, okay, how about we can exclude, or no, sorry, exchange materials, right? So exchanging materials was always a discussion. So we at some point we had this idea of making NFTs that you can basically directly mint from a particular material, right? So you could basically have we were thinking about having an empty container that you would use to do that, right? And then you basically blend that with a thing, and then you could redeem that for the materials again. But the equivalent of what Robot is basically asking is that what we could have is a blend into, let's say, the rarity Wombatium pack, and then we would create, let's say, a 500 uranium Wombatium, right? A uranium Wombatium that basically you can always create from 500 uranium, maybe from 500 or 5,000 iron, or 500, 5,000 or 50,000, whatever, coal. So that would basically represent that amount of resources. So we could then move these resources out of the game, right, and do stuff with them outside of the game that we currently cannot do in the game.
That's interesting,
right? So that's just a thought that just kind of came up in my head, reading this from Robot and basically linking that back to the discussions that we've had with those resources. So maybe that's something that we want to do with upcoming things that we already have planned anyway, or so.
Crystallizing resources through Wombatium. That's cool. We will have to.
Doesn't have to be a Wombatium, but I mean yeah, obviously.
I like the concept of Wombatium. That's why
we don't have a uranium Wombatium, for instance, right? So that would be the perfect kind of thing.
And coal Wombatium.
But you see how it's easy to expand on more and more and more Wombatium ideas. That's why there is so many already.
Yep.
Right? Because it's just so. And then you sometimes you know that you can't use any of the existing ones, right? Because that would kill the balancing or whatever, and you don't know where all the supply is, so you need more control over this, whatever, right? But definitely something. So Sasha is coming up with an insight. I recall someone once planned to do something with the blood, sweat, and tears NFTs. Some plans on this. So you probably don't know what that is, right? Because it's one of the thousands of templates that we have that someone, and the someone was actually Sasha himself, who got this out. I think that was because we had a release that didn't go very well, and the team put in their blood, sweat, and tears to actually fix it and make it happen. And then we started handing out this NFT to anyone who was affected by this problem or something like that, right? So this is where this came from. But there's a bunch of these kinds of NFTs, right, that basically are legacy, that have been around, and that still can be used for stuff, right? And that's in particular what happened with the confettis on EOS, right? When we handed out, Sasha will remember, all these confetti NFTs, and then nobody knew what to do with them outside of basically just pressing C in one play where it would rain confetti. And then we introduced something, and prices skyrocketed and whatever, and there was a lot of speculation around this. So long story short, Sasha, you know that if there was something we would do with the Blood, Sweat, and Tears NFT, we would not tell, because people would go and buy it right away. More by Robot. Follow up on Dungeon Master shop sales, or only their specific amount of this sale for the season. Only a few per wallet of active players, like party medals. Yeah.
Would you like to see party medals in the shop? I don't know if you would like it.
I mean, that would be right. That would incentivize people to go in the game rather than go on NFT blocks to claim their NFTs. A lot more people would actually claim them, right?
Yep. We could do it. We could add medals in the shop for gold. No, for gold maybe.
I don't think we're adding medals anymore because we're already in season 21. It's the season 20
season
thing, but
22.
Yeah. No. 22nd season, but season 21. Sasha was actually suggesting to have an item that was kind of part of the discussion for the 500,000 NP for one season kind of thing. Sasha was suggesting starting with 100,000 NP losing 50% every 3 days. That's hefty, every 3 days. I thought maybe 50% every season or so, but every 3 days. How would you do that?
It will be weird.
We would have to store. We would have to have a mutable attribute on the thing, right? So that if you unstake it, it stops decaying. But the idea is actually quite cool. It's kind of
with a much higher value.
Hmm?
No, Sasha said you can also start with a much higher value.
It's a pretty aggressive decay, right? But I actually like the idea because this could make the whole staking stuff a lot more dynamic, right? That you can't just stake and then you forget about it and then whatever, and then you update your staked NFTs every once in a while, right? It's actually cooler if you have to actively manage that because it will go to waste otherwise. Nice discussion here. So Funken is also contributing. How about metals and blend recycle them to make new NFTs with higher MP depending on the alloy? You may think about that and answer it. I need to open the door real quick. I'll be right back.
I like the concept that you mentioned, recycle as well. Metals could be. The problem with that is we will have to think about it not being messed out around with materials. But maybe we could also implement that with the idea of crystallizing the current resources that we have. The problem I see with crystallizing the current resources will be the goal, because I don't remember who was it that mentioned us that gold in theory had no value. So
Bitcoin in theory has no value.
Sorry?
Bitcoin in theory has no value. Nothing has value.
No, it has value for sure, but we will have to check it.
So there's a bit of a discussion about stamina gear. Sir Keener also asked when we'll get new stamina reduction gear, and if you release it, how will we be capped? And Kane Master 42 Wombastic is saying, why the best speed gear on the game is the same gear than the stamina reduction then? So I'm not sure whether that's a question.
I don't understand.
Or to Masbaz.
I think he's replying to Masbaz.
But what's your thoughts on stamina consumption reduction gear, right? So that you use less stamina when you make a run. I mean, this would obviously work better if we had any kind of restriction on stamina, right?
Yeah.
Because the people who already max out their stamina crazily, those won't be bothered with stamina reduction gear, I suppose.
I mean, I think I need to understand better stamina, and we will have to tackle first the current situation that we have for me to make a comment about it. But yeah, someone as well was suggesting maybe we shouldn't just make a voting to see if we can leave things as they are. But I do think it must need a nerf right now, the current stamina situation.
But it's always cool if the community is divided and a vote always makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that people are divided in this sense. Useless you're now because of the speed your stadium etc. I mean, yeah, I mean, stamina is directly associated with the speed, so
it kind of is, right? Because you consume a certain amount of stamina each run whenever you run. So the more speed you have, the more runs you can do in a day. So the concept of stamina was introduced in order to battle kind of OP-ness of too many runs per day, right? With too much speed. So now you can argue that if you have enough speed, you don't care about stamina anymore. So it's basically defeating the whole purpose of stamina altogether, right? So any advanced player who will have a certain minimum amount of speed already will not be bothered with stamina whatsoever. But if we introduce an additional penalty or whatever, or hard cap or whatever, I mean, talking about NBA, right? They introduced all new rules for trades this season, right? So they have now the luxury tax, and they have the first apron and the second apron and hard caps and so on. There's so many rules about whether or not you're allowed to make a trade for a player in the NBA now. We could do something similar, right? We could have a first apron and a second apron and these kinds of things. It's going to be ridiculous, but maybe fun. I don't know.
I mean, we could make it more useful if we take the different approach of maybe adding a point penalization to the stamina thing instead of the time penalization.
All right. Sasha, follow up. If they're staked, if the Wombat tokens are staked, you will get the equivalent amount of play, the 1-to-2 ratio, in a new staking smart contract where it's also staked for you, because we need to handle the VIP levels. So yes, you will have them, and they will unstake at the end of the staking period, and so on and so on. I start this not because I mean it's actually funny, right? So you blend a spike with a victory wombation and you win, right? Okay, whatever. It's it's cool, but it's kind of funny, but it's at the same time, like, what is winning, right?
What do you win?
No, I'm thinking maybe you could do something where you actually just straight up get some contribution for the day, right? So you basically win the day. You get, just like in the Well of Wealth, right, where you can claim like 50,000 contribution for the day. How about there's a particular whatever blend or a consumable of sorts that you can create somehow, that just gives you 100K contribution for the day, 500K contribution for the day, right? So that's similar to getting whatever 100,000 mining power for a certain period of time. But hey, right, it could actually boost the use of a lot of the existing Wombatiums a lot if we created something like that, like a win now kind of thing, right? A temporary solution. So that's why I wanted to bring this up, because it triggers so many thoughts in my brain about what could be done with
What could you win?
what a win is, right? Or there could be something like what we do with the golden keys at the end of the season, each season, that the first person to get this will get like a massive whatever, right? So imagine we had a Black Lotus blend that blends into whatever, 1 million wombat, 10 million wombat, whatever, like a massive prize, right? Or 1 million wax, or whatever it is, something really, really crazy, right? That then everyone will be running after, because they want to win this prize, right? And on the way, there's a lot of steps that need to be taken in order to get there. Maybe that's blending all the NFTs or whatever, right? All the Wombations, plus maybe a Grandmaster pack or whatever, right? So there can be a lot of things that we can think about. So I'm really just wondering, like, what else we can do that lives basically outside of the actual game right now.
I like it. Could be. I think
just to give you in the chat a few thoughts about kind of this, right? It's crazy. Yep. Funken is asking about the equipment loadouts. So that's essentially something like whether it's sets, right, where you can basically switch between equipment sets or whatever. Not like sets is a bad word because we use that for something else, but you know what I mean, right? So you have, so especially for the people who want to do the tasks, the achievements for the Well of Wealth, like fully equipped with common items, fully equipped with this, fully equipped with, right? So you could have presets for certain equipment settings, right? So some people would wish that for the more NFTs so that they can switch between their daily run gear and the stuff that they use once a day, basically.
That might be interesting. You
It
say
is
similar
interesting. It's been
to
on the
Call of
it's been it's been on the it's been on the backlog for ages. Just we never found a way of actually making it so that it's good and actually prioritizing it accordingly. That's why Funken is here reminding us after. I think Funken hasn't been here in like half a year or so, and comes back and
Oh,
reminds us
really?
about
Welcome back
some,
then.
about something that
Nice.
we've been discussing for a long, long time, essentially. Sir Keener is actually talking to Sasha about this, but actually talking to me, I believe. Do you remember the blend from the 6 empty booster boxes? They never released it, and now nobody remembers. That's correct. We never released it. Would it actually make sense to release them? Does anyone have six boxes? I think we actually have the artwork done for it. Like maybe I should not be explaining these things online on stream, but some people don't know that, right? We used to have booster boxes, so boxes of packs. You would get 12 packs, and then Sasha had this interesting concept of like every 10th box actually containing a sneak 13th pack that was actually crumpled up because there was a production error in the production line and whatnot, right? And then, but if you open the box, you not only get the 12 packs that are inside, you also get the empty box, and you get the plastic wrapper, right? So there's a plastic wrapping NFT that's out there as well. But the empty boxes, we wanted to have kind of a puzzle blend where if we have, I think originally we said 12, but then we reduced it to six empty boxes, and they all had an artwork on the back, and this artwork would be part of a bigger artwork, so you could actually make some kind of a poster from these 6 empty boxes, and that would have super high MP or whatever, right? So that's what we back then had in mind. But yeah, I don't think anyone ever prioritized it ever again. But it's obviously a fun idea. It's just one of these 1,000 details. Will it be possible to bridge back gold extractors from EOS to wax? It is possible. You can send them back the same way you bridge them over from wax to EOS. You just send them to Wombat Redeem, and you're going to get them back. Bring back random packs, and which include the profession NFTs, and add in stamina reduction NFTs and rope bonus NFTs. So two more sets essentially, because those were never planned. Stamina reduction and rope bonus NFTs. So that's packs that go across all the sets essentially. I actually had an idea that I want to discuss with you, Santiago, on the weekend about this.
Okay. We will have to check it out.
Yeah, totally. Kevin Kev is saying, bring back 5% flat NFT boost to the well, please. Well, that was totally OP. So that's hard to bring back.
5% flat NFT boost.
There was a bug that we had, a bug in the Well of Wealth, in the implementation of the 5%. Now it's, I think, 20 or 25%. So what this was supposed to do is increase the likelihood of you getting NFTs by 5%, right? But what it did was it increased the likelihood of you getting a standard pack by 5 percentage points, right? So instead of, let's say, 20%, you had 25%.
Okay.
Then for silver packs, it also increased from, let's say, if you had 10%, it increased to 15%. And then if you had, let's say, a chance of only getting like a 1% chance of getting a gold pack, this would increase to 6%, right? So this was like totally OP, but that was because, well, essentially the implementation was buggy, not because it was meant like that, right? It was meant like if you had a 1% or whatever, if you had a 15% overall likelihood of getting an NFT, this would increase to 20%, right? So this was how it was intended. But there's ways we can work with in balancing this going forward. I'm not sure this was answered. Will it be fixed, the link for Moken's League game? I don't know. It works for me, but definitely forwarding this to the T. Technically, it wasn't a bug when you've had it for 10 plus seasons. Can still be a bug, but yeah, I mean, you're right. Even XL reverted price is mad from $100 to $500 to get 4,000 more MP. I don't see any relation logic. Well, you don't have to do it, but there's the concept of compression that we always discuss internally, or contraction or whatever, where there's a marginal effect to mining power, right? So going from, let's say, from 10,000 mining power to 11,000 mining power will probably cost you more than going from 5 to 1,005, right? Because there's a lot of competition among NFTs that have 1,000 mining power, whereas there's very few NFTs that have over 10,000 mining power, right? So that's probably gonna be more valuable, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the concept behind that it's not the absolute 4,000 more MP. It's that there is like go try find other options of getting this kind of NFT with that kind of mining power, but also with the reverties, they're more expensive than anything else on the market for sure, because you can get 100% of your money back at any point in time. So that's crazy, right? So you're essentially just borrowing this NFT for the capital cost of the 100 USDC or 500 USDC that you put in, right? So it's not really kind of the cost of it. So if you calculate, let's say you want to keep this NFT for 2 years, right? So what's the capital cost? And I know I'm making it sound very complicated, but what's the capital cost of $500 over 2 years, right? So let's say if you just kept the $500 and put it into whatever lending or whatever, and you would get a 3% AP, let's say APY, right? Or let's say a 3% APR. This is maybe easier. So you get $3 on your $100 every year, right? And there might be a compounding effect, but whatever. Let's neglect that. So you have 3% or 4%, right? So your $500 would, in 2 years at 4%, would be making $20 per year. So that's like $40, right? So that's the actual cost that you pay for the XL reverting. That's the actual cost, because after those 2 years, you can just give it back and get back your 500 USDC, and you will have had all the mining power for 2 years for just $40, right? So it's kind of renting it. That's why they're called reverties, and I think the concept is really cool. Personally, right? So if I had enough kind of USDC left, I would just stake those, because I can always get it back, and everybody benefits because we use the interest from the revertees to actually buy back and burn Wombat tokens, right?
Interesting.
So I think it's really cool. Everyone should be minting a ton of revertees. Can you lower the price of XXL revertees? That's just madness. Actually, I think we could. No, we can't because we have some of them are minted. So it's actually quite crazy. Okay. Anzi, we are working on this. Do you have any status on the Grandmaster packs, Santiago? Did you?
They sent the link of the art today. I
So
saw
this
your
should.
request about it, but I don't know much about those. I
Yeah.
need to
Okay.
learn.
That's one of the 1,500 topics that I'll have to educate Santiago on. But soon, really soon now.
There are a lot of things I need to learn. For example, with the revertis, I also need to get more information about the concept because when I read it at first, it was like, "Ha, this is cool," and then I never came back to them again.
Just because we need to move on. We're really like there was so many questions. It was such a loaded stream. I didn't expect that actually. And it's also we have quite a bunch of people actually who came on. Last one with Sasha. What about some suspension that for stamina? That's probability is rising the more runs you do in a day. So probably the more negative your stamina is, that you get basically knocked out. That's actually a cool idea, right? Because your wombat is super tired of running, so it has super negative stamina. So the more negative you run on stamina, the more likely it is that you might hit a kind of a 1 hour, 6 hour, whatever suspension where it can't do runs, right? Because
People will be mad about it, but I like it.
yes, and then we can obviously bring in some item that can revive or shorten the time or whatever, right? Whatever. It's cool.
I like it. I like it.
Um,
Actually, I like it a lot. I will put note on it. And we
that's
introduce
more.
an energy drink, so they can drink it and recover some stamina if they're negative. So having good
Yeah,
ideas.
that we had already,
You
and
have an energy drink?
um, that was highly OP, and that's why we had to cut it very very quickly again. But it's still out there, and we still can do something with that. Coins for Vince is just saying on the current wood metal drop, it would be great if in the future we could avoid having the drop time extend, because some people are not aware and they will get some claims.
I mean, the thing is, we need to announce it, but it is
We
kind of
did, but we didn't
yeah.
well enough, right?
I think it was announced that we extended the time. I'm not sure if Matt did it. In that case, what we should do is if we extend it, then we should announce it. But refraining from extending the drop, I mean, there are some times in which we expect the community to behave in some way, and then it behaves in the other. We expected the drop to end in the period we estimated, and it didn't actually.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a
We
good
can
point.
avoid this issue, of course, and
They're making a good point. However, I mean, most other people basically requested the exact opposite to actually
exactly.
extend it so that it could actually be minted up. Obviously, it's free stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I also don't get why so few of these got claimed. At the same time, I haven't been claiming mine every day. So yeah, it's a bit.
I wasn't able to claim mine, sadly.
Yeah, we didn't rig it for you. Sorry. So your village people make it so the wombat has an odds of falling sick. Yeah, exactly. You can pay a fee to heal the wombat. Right. Okay, so now we need to get going on Twitchy Tides. So yeah, let's get this rolling. Exclamation mark wombat to join this round of Twitchy Tides already.
Which woman? Your village said 30% probability of the woman getting unconscious. I think you meant wombat.
Well, wombat, or maybe the wombat's wife or so. Consprovins is saying revert is a great idea. It would work if it's in Solana chain. Unfortunately, this is Wax blockchain where $25 could brought you a lot of stakeable NFTs. Yeah, that's maybe right. I was actually thinking about making something similar on Wax, because the problem, the main reason why we did it on Polygon and not on Wax was that there was no yield on Wax, no liquid kind of yield, right?
So you get USDC from the guys and you put it on yield, right?
Exactly. We put it into in an what's it called, Aave lending pool, right? So and that's all very safe and well known and so on, right? So that's cool. And there's always yield. On Wax, there is no, well, lending, so there is no auto kind of yield for stable coins, right? But what we could do that with now is basically EOS, EOS, Wax Fusion, right? And basically put that into SWAX, so you can claim your staking rewards anytime, right? So that is something we could do there, and then that's like lending essentially, right? Because it's basically generate yield, and then we could do the same thing. We could actually buy back Wombat tokens from the yield, right? So that everybody benefits from it, and then we could balance it out a different way, right? Just a lot of implementation work to be done, but it's possible now. So yeah, I still think that there's a lot of potential in this idea that we can leverage at some point, especially if the market improves. Where are we going? Do you think we will break the 69 today or this week before the elections?
The what?
69,000 on Bitcoin?
No, I don't think so. I think Bitcoin is waiting for it.
Well. Okay, so
I mean, I have an interesting question for you. Have you seen the prediction markets on Polymarket, right?
yes.
What do you think they really represent the probability of winning from certain candidates? Or it isn't related at all?
I think, I mean, the market is really, really big, right? If you look at the poly market volumes and some people who are holding those tokens, it's crazy, right? I think they have a daily volume of what, 2, 3, 400 million on that market alone.
I think it is bigger, but yeah.
Or bigger, right? It's like hundreds of millions in this prediction market. So I think as soon as it is that large, it will be a lot more accurate in terms of predicting the future than polls. That's what's crazy, right? Yeah, I think they're accurate. And if you look at the betting markets, you go to any sports betting site that has betting on politics, the odds there will be very, very similar, right? There's basically arbitrage between these markets. So yeah, I think that this will represent the actual odds of basically Trump winning. So basically, Trump is a 2-1 favorite on winning over Harris right now,
Okay.
according to these. So I think yes, that's actually pretty accurate. Ooh, the diamond medal only gives 1725 MP, not 1750.
That's a sin. We will change it right away.
Crazy. No politics, please. We're not talking about politics. We're actually talking about prediction markets for politics. I mean, I'm neutral, right? I would never want to insult anyone by saying I'm a fan of this or whatever. Just right now, it really seems like the market's waiting for the elections one way or another. Blue Mob token won the competition. Is that right? Is that so? Let's have a look. I'll just do it secretly. So the trading volume for Blue Whale is 783 according to Wax on Edge. The trading volume for Wombi is 603. And the volume for RODC, Red or Dead, is 601. Yes, so Blue Whale won. And so I'll be, I should be doing that right here, right? So I will go and buy some Blue Whale. I'm using, maybe just real quick, right? So I'm using the Wombat swap for this. It's using Alcor, so that's why the slippage might be a bit higher than usual. Okay, so now I'll go to Blocks.io or whatever, and send Blue Whale to eosio.null. Oh, I don't know how many I bought now, so I'll do that a little later, because I have a lot more than I have bought. So now I'll basically to look it up. How many I got? I got 31.6 billion.
Holy, you're a blue whale indeed.
So you be really careful with that, so that I burn slightly more, right? So 31.6
Hey, Webby's here.
Hi, Webby.
I want to meet Webby.
Okay. So burned. So that should be reflected. That's actually what's cool about Wax on Edge as well. Not sure how often that updates. Just quickly come back. So this will show here in burn supply, right? If it's sent to eosio.null, then this should show up here. Anyway, coming back to Twitchy Tides. So who is using the Wombat skin today?
Who is Freddy?
We have Shiba Seeker as always. Coins for Vince with the blue one. Okay. So those two people will get an extra wood medal. Again. Let me check whether we still have enough wood medals. I think we have. We have a lot of things.
Adrian, who is Freddy?
Freddy used to be our #1 player before he disappeared.
What happened to Freddy?
We don't know.
Oh my god.
So we still have.
Also, people think that Webby has him in his basement.
I would say, knowing Webby, that's just rumors and FUD. But there was always a bit of a competition between Freddy and Webby, and after Freddy just disappeared from all of Wax, right? Not just from Dungeon Master, but he hasn't even sold everything or whatever. Freddy is just not around anymore. So people have been tracking his wallets and whatnot, but nobody knows really, and it's sad. But yeah, no. After all the discussions that I had with Freddy, it's not me. He's not me. All right, so we'll do top 15 players. Top 15 players get a wood medal, and anyone using a wombat skin gets one extra. Okay. We'll go to fast, obviously, and let's start. top 15 players and anyone who has a wombat skin.
Double personality, Adrian Freddy.
Sorry?
No, someone, Daniel Angel said double personality. If you're Freddy and Adrian.
Well, it's not that easy to pretend or to rig that. So, but yeah. 4 people left, and we're done. Cool. So we will have 15 handed out, 15 wood medals total, handed out one each to Charveen, going 2-2, Canvas, Lexilex, Mazbaz, Funken, Ivanov, Tree Frognada, Ginteri, Sasha, Webby, Coins for Vince, Autumn's Toys, Rising Dragons, and SDME. And yeah, the 2 people who had their wombat skin get an extra one, or get one. There was yeah, I can never remember, but we'll get there. So GG is here. Let me post that somewhere. Shiba Seeker, that was. And what's the other? Coins for Vince. Right. Okay. Great. You've said to watch for updates on the profession gear changes. Will it be announced this week?
I'm actually surprised you went all the stream without teasing anything.
I won't. There were so many questions. I had all my hands and brains full. So what's up? What's the answer to this? Kevin Kev's question.
I think there will be information out this week. Yeah, there will be. And
Cool.
We will also have a tavern to be able to talk about it, because we're introducing some cool concepts that we hope that you like.
Do you know when the wombat fish snapshot for the payout? It is saying this on the drop, but let me pull that out for you because we're a service stream company. This is gonna be, I think, November 1st, exactly. So Friday this week.
Oh, November is already here. Cool.
Yeah, dude, it's already November. It's crazy. Okay, so we're 7 minutes into the 3rd hour of the stream already. So all that's left to do. Oh, thanks for the sub, Sasha, an hour ago. It's more than deserved. Who are you rating today? What's our raid target? Who do you want to raid?
We have Las Vegas Ape streaming.
As always.
As always.
Anyone else? So Sasha has traded a sub for our Twitch channel for a call. Good idea. Now that creates a lot of social pressure on me, right? Everyone's going to be watching. Sasha's going to be probably gonna show up on stream next week again to tell everyone whether I actually did call him or not, right? So it's like it's good when you're there publicly, right? But anyway, rate your mama. My parents actually just flew to Southern Africa to go on some cool trip. So
Interesting.
really jealous. Folks, who should we rate? Really? What's this? No rate suggestions here. So I'll just pick somebody random. Krasse Chrissy. Is that a German-speaking stream? Yeah, so that's not great. That's going to be tough for a lot of people. No rate. There's no way we're not rating. So Las Vegas Ape is live. What's Las Vegas? What's he doing? Twitchy Tides right now. And NFT dealer is on a break. So I guess we'll go with Raid the Refrigerator. Raid Shadow Legends.
That's a good
one. Or the Online Inn. We haven't rated the Online Inn in a while. Okay. So maybe we'll just do that. They're playing Twitchy Tides as well. So, okay, let's do this. We're rating the Online Inn today. All right. Then it's AFK. But they're playing a round of Twitchy Tides, or they're about to start a round of Twitchy Tides. I don't want to raid anyone who's AFK, but I can't hear it. Right, so I'm not sure whether they're talking right now. Come on, folks. Help me out here. So what's your choice, Santiago?
I am looking. I am watching the line in. Yeah, it seems that he isn't talking right now.
He's not talking. He's not there.
Yeah. Then Las Vegas.
Okay. Then too bad. And too bad for the Online Inn, and we'll raid Las Vegas 8. Okay, then have fun. And have fun with Las Vegas 8. Have a good week. And see you next week, everyone. All right. Thanks, Santiago. Thanks, everyone. And bye-bye.
See ya.